Hello, welcome back to Moses Tech Fix. Uh, Fundamental key points that are supposed to be used in the Microsoft Word day life. All right, let's get started. So we go to the search as usual and we look for the word. And you will always see word as the first option right here. And then you click to open the word. Nice. So remember I told you we have templates. If you need to design a template like a CV, a color block designer, a modern chronicle resume, um, or a modern multi-page resume, it depends. These are templates. They are always there to help you or to guide you on how you want to develop a resume or something else. And there are very more templates when you come to the top right. There are more templates here. We have business templates, we have cards, we have flyers, we have letters. There are very many, so it depends on which one would you like to use. But now you will only access them over the internet because you see, I do not have an internet connection. That is why I cannot search for multiple designs. All right, but as usual, we always go in for the blank page ourselves. So we click on the blank page. Yes, so this is the Microsoft Word. We have so far covered the Home tab, the Insert tab, and then today I want us to look at the Draw tab, the Design tab, or maybe even the Layout. Only those three, because these three they only have a few things that we use in Microsoft Word. So that is why I want to cover them all at once, and then another time we shall see the references and everything there. So, but today I think let us cover the draw, the design, and the layout. So now the draw tab is basically for shapes and drawing images or drawing pictures on the paper, and this works much more better with laptops like the Microsoft Surface, the tablets, the laptops with touch screens. It will be better because you will be having a pen, an electric pen that you'll be using to draw the pictures very well. So we have these, the undo and the redo. So the undo and the redo, they are very useful and uh, important steps in Microsoft Word. For example, to redo, it it takes your work forward, or to repeat, it takes your work forward. But then to undo is to take your work backward. For example, if I've written Moses is back, and then I want to undo the changes, when I click undo, you will see that one of my sentences is deleted. And then when I click it again, you see my name goes in small letters. And then when I click it again, everything appears. So that is undo. It takes your text back, but it doesn't delete. Only that there's a certain amount whereby it cannot recover much of your information. But for the smaller amounts, it can just keep your work somewhere, and then you will recover it soon. Maybe if you want to re- to bring back a certain sentence. And then this is the reverse of the redo. So what the redo does, that one here, it brings all my statements back as they were, right? So they are nice and cool pictures. And then we have the drawing tools right here, the drawing tools. You see, we have the select, we have the lasso, we have the rubbers, we have pens, we have pencils, we have markers. And you can also go further and add. You can add a pen, you can add a highlighter, a fountain pen, a brush, and a pencil. So basically, this is for making your art. For example, in a pencil, remember I told you when you click on an object and you have a drop down arrow, it means there are more options right there. So you click on the drop down arrow, you select the thickness of the line, and then you select the color you would want to use, and then after that you will come and draw, or you will start to draw what you like. And then when you select another tool right here, you check the thickness of the line, and then you select the colors or the gradients, and then you come and draw what you want to draw. So this is why I told you that the drawing format works so much better on people who have touch screens. Otherwise, if you have a mouse like mine, an external mouse, it may be even very hard for you to sketch up your name or even an object. So, but basically, these are the drawing tools. We use them for drawing pictures and tables if you like, and diagrams if you have a pen, a touch pen, and your laptop or iPad or Microsoft Surface is a touch, which is a nice. This is whereby we use these tools. Basically, the tools they are used for drawing, and then we also have the eraser, which is the rubber. You can erase what you don't want, and then come and draw something that you like, which is better. All right. So these are just basically for drawing the pictures that we want. And then we have the rulers. So the rulers, if you are doing measurements and you click on the ruler like this, here is the ruler. When you are doing measurements, it is really very important for the ruler to show you like which uh, uh, like the straightness of the line. But still, this has to work when you have a touchpad. This is when it will work for you. And if you want to draw a straight line like as I've done, you make sure when you are drawing a straight line, you have to draw it close to the ruler like this. You draw it close to the ruler, and then the ruler will put for you a straight line. And to move the ruler, you click in between of the ruler using the left hand side without removing your hand on the mouse, and then you can easily drag or move the ruler. All right. But if you switch off the ruler, you can draw anything that you want, anything anyhow that you want. But if you like to draw things that are really straight, this is when you select the ruler, and then you come and select maybe the pencil, you select the weight of the colors or the thickness of the color, and then you select the color you like. So the moment you start to draw, this will become a straight line. All right, it becomes a straight line. It doesn't become like the lines that we draw without rulers. They go zigzag and then crossways. But when you have a ruler, it makes sure that you draw a very straight and correct line. All right. This is the importance of the ruler in drawing. And then we have the edit. We have the edit. I'm sure many of you have come across such kind of papers, ruled papers. So ruled papers, they usually have blue lines in between them. All right. So uh, when you are maybe in need of designing a document with a ruled procedure, you come right away to the edit, and then you select the format of the lines. So it is like you are having a ruled paper inside your what? Inside your Microsoft Word, which is better. But when you select these lines, they are too much. The wide ruled lines, they are very big. They don't make sense. So we select the college ruled ones. Otherwise, at least they are a bit medium for them. You can just do stuff, and then yeah, this is how you select a ruled one. the ruled paper. So now that means when you need to maybe type in a message, you can type in a message, and then when you press enter, you put a space, and then you type in what you like. So it will be like you are writing on a ruled paper. Okay, all right. So this is the importance of that, to create an organized work in a ruled paper. And this is how many ruled papers get to be printed. Though sometimes they use special papers. They may not use A4 papers, but they use special papers to print ruled papers. And this is the way how those lines are put in the ruled papers. All right. And then you may also need to be in need of designing grid lines. You come right over to the edit and then design grid lines. For the people who really know mathematics very well, where grid lines, they are used to maybe if we are designing a graph, but then this will take you some time to design a very accurate graph. But the grid lines, they are very important for this in the schools. So you get the ruler, and then you get the pencil, and then you draw the lines. You see, this is how it happens. And then maybe you can come to the insert, and then you can come to the insert, and then you insert a shape. For example, you need this arrow here. You draw this arrow right away from this point. Oops, sorry. You get a shape, this shape, and then you draw a shape, an arrow like that. So this it's a very very interesting thing to design maybe a graph or something like that, but it is going to really take you some bit of time when you are designing such a thing for maybe a school or somebody who would like it. And then when you click in this object of the drawing, which is like a shape, you notice that you have a box around it. So this box means that you can easily move it anywhere that you like, and you can easily play with it along play along with it, maximize it, decrease it, do that, anything that you like. You can even try to bring it a bit closer or extend it a bit behind. It depends. And then you can come to the insert as well, and then you have maybe a line. You can draw a horizontal line right here, like that, and then you come to the lines as well. You can draw the vertical one as well. All right, and then you can get the arrows, and then you draw the arrows starting from the one of the corners to the other corners. So it looks like you are drawing a mathematical display of a graph, but it will probably have to take you some time when you are finishing up the drawing. So now in our classes, maybe one of them, we shall have to see how to design shapes and draw graphs, things like that. All right. So yeah, that is how we can get ruled papers in our Microsoft Word document. We come to the format background, and then we select which rule lines do we need to apply. And if you're okay without the rule lines, you just come and click none. So when you click none, all the ruled lines will have to go away, right? Then the next thing is we have this this one is called ink to shape. So when you click ink to shape, it means that it's like you are writing, okay, in the shape, like a graph, or you draw lines to the students to show them this is something that is this. So you are inking to the shape. It works the same as the pencil, or as the pens would have done, because they also do the same thing. All right. They also do the same thing. And then we have the ink to math. So the ink to math also it works very important, very much for the mathematicians, and it is always better to use a touchpad screen, whereby, for example, you see you have write math here, so you can say that two, even if you don't want to write it very well, 2 plus 3, it will be equals to 5, like that. And then you say, after writing this, the computer will correct it upward here, and then you can say insert. So you have made an equation, but using your free hand, using your design, the draw and design tools. Okay, you have not gone to insert as we did yesterday or a few classes ago, and then you came to the equation, and then you looked for the equation, blah blah blah, and then you insert it. No, here you have just come to the draw, and then you went to the ink to math, and then you were asked to write the equation. So you can always write anything like that you want, and then make sure that the computer gets it right. Okay, so the reason as to why maybe one of my letters is not recognized is that I was writing it wrongly, this one. But you need to make sure you write something that the computer really understands. And this is why I told you it will be better if you are using a touch screen. Otherwise, if you are using an external mouse like me, sometimes the symbols you need to be the symbols you need to draw them very carefully, and it may take some of your time. Okay, so after that you will say insert, and then your equation will be inserted very well in the Microsoft Word. All right, so then when we come back to the draw again, uh, the rest of these ones, we do not focus on them so much, and we don't actually use them. Maybe if I happen to get a question from you how to use them, that would be nice, because yeah, if somebody would like to use them, then I'll be able to explain. But for the draw and for the draw tab here, those are the only fundamental parts that we would prefer. We use the undo and the redo buttons, and then we select the drawings right here in case you need to draw a picture or something else. And then we select a ruler to make sure that our lines are correct. And also we select ruled lines if we need them in our document. And then we select the ink to shape if we need to write closer to the shape, and the ink to math if we want to write equations in our Microsoft Word. All right. Yes, I hope you got that. And then when we go to the design tab, because the draw tab is finished, when we go to the design tab, this is basically for designing titles. Remember, I told you in Microsoft Word, if you want your work to take effect on anything, you have to first highlight where you are going to apply a change from. So, for example, these titles, whenever you choose a title, you will see that the words do change. All right, the words do change, but many times it doesn't make sense, because you will do all this title thing from the home tab, as we discussed last time in the first lesson. You will do everything from the home tab, whereby you will come right here, you highlight your content, you make it bold, you make it italics, you can change the language to Times New Roman or Adlam display, or you can change to Aharoni, or you can change to Hue Gothic Light, and then you can even increase the size of your text if you like. You can increase the size of your text. So you will find that when you come here to the design, something that you'd have done here in the design titles, you can always play around with it in the home tab. All right. So this is very important for you to know. You can play with any design from the home tab, right? So, but in the design, we have we have only a few things that we focus on, right? So what we focus on in the design tab are the page backgrounds. These ones, we focus on them. Not really so much, but on official occasions, we focus on them. And even many schools, they focus on them. For example, uh, you have ever seen schools with report cards that have watermarks. So a watermark is a simple drawing that is light fade behind your text. All right, that is a watermark. And then oh, sorry. So I was saying a watermark is a small or is any picture or any drawing or any word that is lightly fade behind your Microsoft document. For example, if the government is issuing an order that is confidential and they place it into an envelope which is confidential and everything that they do, so one thing that they may do is that they may insert a watermark that confidential, just like that, confidential. And you see when I click on confidential, you will see something behind, this text behind. And this text, you cannot edit this text. You cannot. Even if when you click 1,000 times, as I am doing now, you cannot edit this text. It is hard for you to edit. So unless when you go back to the watermark, and then you can come here to edit or change the watermark. So that is a watermark. It always appears behind the text of your document. And the most cool thing, the most interesting thing is that many times you can come even and you create a custom watermark right here. So a custom watermark, it means you are going to create one of your own that you like. For example, you can say, yes, I don't need the watermark, or I need a picture watermark. And then a picture watermark, you will have to select a picture when you are online. Otherwise, if you don't have internet, it will not work. And then many people use the text watermark. This is what people use so much, whereby under text you can write something. Do not uh, give out this document. Okay? Do not give out this document. So this is the text that is going to appear behind my document when I'm telling someone do not give out this document. I can even go further and change the language if I know the one that I like the AMSPM or anything that I like. And then the size, I can choose the size, but it is good to leave it to automatic. And then I can choose the color. Many people prefer red. Many people, they prefer red color. And then it may be semi-transparent and then diagonal. So when you apply, you will see, when you click apply, you will see my watermark behind here in the document. So even if when I delete these images right here, when I when I delete these images right here, for example, I cut this and then I also cut something like this. Otherwise, you have to be very careful to point in the line. So if I delete some of my documents or some of my pictures right here, you will see that the word or the watermark still remains in the background, but you cannot edit. Even when you print, it will come out printed very well. But here, once you place it right there, you cannot edit a watermark unless when you come back to the design tab, and then you go to the watermark, and then you go to the custom watermark. This is when you can be able to change the watermark. All right. So, like for example, when you delete out some of the words and you click, maybe you change the color to dark green, and then you say apply, you will see now that you have made changes. But otherwise, you cannot edit it physically. You have to come back and you edit it from the watermark button here, and then the custom, right? So that is another fundamental tool. Then we also have page covers. A page cover is just to select a color that will fill up your page. This one we may not focus on it so much, but that is it's another fundamental, just a break tool or a highlight for you guys. And then we also have the page borders. So page borders here, they may be somehow much disturbing, but when you go back to the home tab, you still have the borders right here with you. Remember, in the lessons that we had, when you go back to the home, you still have the borders and the shading right here. So when you click there, it will give you the same thing. All right. So borders, they're like lines that are covering the whole document. All right. They are lines. For example, when you come right here and you select a line, and then you select the width to maybe 4.5 points, and then you come right here to select where you want to apply. There are some times whereby you would like to apply a border to a certain section, or to the first page only, or to all except the first page, or to the whole document. So these are the steps, or these are the only allowed areas where you can apply a border. You can apply it to the whole document, to a certain section of words, or to the first page only, or to the section except the first page. But if you choose the whole document and you click OK, you will see that my page has something like that. So even if when I press enter and go to the next page, you will see that I still have my watermark here. I still have my watermark, and then I have the borders as well, right? So you cannot edit the borders from here. No, you cannot edit the borders from here, unless when you go back to the borders symbol, and then you go to borders and shading, and then you can either change the line, you go to page borders, and then you change the lines, you do everything you want, or you click on none. So when you click on none and press OK, your borders will go away if you do not need them. So borders they are not so much really important in nowadays when you are designing a document, apart from schools that do need to design report cards of their students, or that do need to teach students how to do this. But borders, they are not so much we are not so much focusing on them. So here on the design, we only focus on one thing, which is a default one. It is the watermark, but the rest, they are not too much fundamental in the design tab. Okay. So another one, when we come here to the last one for today, which is the layout. Um, we have a few things that we do focus on here in the layout. The main important things that we do focus on here is the page setup ribbon. The page setup ribbon. And for the paragraph ribbon, we would have focused on it so much, but remember, it has the indent and it has the spacing. And remember, the indent and the spacings, we saw them in the home tab some time ago. So these are the indents and the spacing, right? These are the indent and the spacing. So it is better you work on them all right here on the home, other than coming here to the layout and then you're confused with a lot of things. What is that? What is that? So it is better you work on your indents and then the spacing right here from the home tab. So, but what we always fundamentally focus on here in the layout is the page setup. That is really very much important. And then the arrangement, no, we cannot focus on this so much, And these unactive buttons that you see, they mostly work if we have inserted a picture or a shape right here in our work, and this is when they'll become active. And then the text direction may not be considered so much, and then because remember, you cannot type your Microsoft Word document when the words are facing down, though you can still do one simple trick, maybe one fine day if I have a question from you guys. This is when we can do a simple trick, but we do not focus on the text direction so much. And remember, when you come back to the page setup, we saw the page breaks. You remember the page breaks? Yeah, the page breaks, we also have them here in the home. And they are in the insert. We also have them in the insert tab. All right. So now in the layout, what we focus on is are the margins, the orientation, the size, and the columns if we would like. Those are the best fundamental things that we focus on here. The margins, the orientation, the size, and the columns. So the margins determine how your work is going to be on the paper. So for example, if I select moderate margins here, you see how my page has behaved, all right? Or if I select wider margins, you see how my page has behaved. All right. So a margin is always where your words are going to be written, or where your words are going to start from when you are typing. And when you look up closely in my Microsoft Word, these two corners, this one here, this one here, and then this one here, those two, they are the ones that determine my my margins. Okay, so now when I select those margins that I used, so you will see that there is a certain distance from the paper to the text right here. There's a certain distance from the paper to the text. So these are the margins. Okay, these ones are the margins. This space is the margin, this space. And then this other space, the smaller one that I have left, is the only space that I have for my words to write in that space. And you will notice that when I try to type again in the in this work here, you will not be exceeding these lines, because when you came to the layout and you selected margins, you decided to select wide margins. So you will see the work will be somehow a bit squeezed in the paper. And then when you select moderate, you will see that my work expands, that some of my work has gone to the left, and then the words that I was typing, they have got some more space. And then when you select the narrow margins, you will see that even they extend a bit more further. And then you can witness that now my arrows, my corners, that one and that one on the left and that one on the right, they now have a wider space. So this means I have a little space right here for the margins. And then yeah, when you select the normal ones, they will come back inside the page a bit, but still this will be normal for your work. Yes. So those margins, this is how we play with them around. But we do not use mirrored margins and Office 2003 default. No, no, no. We only use normal, narrow, moderate, and wide margins. These four. They are the ones that we focus on so much. All right. Then we go to the orientation. Orientation, we only have two types. We have the portrait, and then we have the landscape. So portrait, this is when the page is let me say it is standing straight. The page is standing straight in portrait. So let me try and do it here. So in portrait, the page is standing straight like that. But in landscape, the page is like a rectangle, a rectangular shape. That is a landscape. So this is a portrait, and then this is a landscape, right? So you always choose one of these in the layout, and then you come to the orientation. You always choose these options depending on the work that you have typed, or depending on how you want to print out your work. You may prefer to print out in a portrait or in a landscape, so it depends how you love it, but that is the difference. So portrait, the page is a square standing, and then the landscape, it is a rectangle. See, and when I select the landscape orientation, my paper, my page becomes a bit wide. Okay, and when I come back to the portrait, it will become a bit short and straight, small and straight. Okay, and then we have the size. So the size, when we are, it depends on which what you are designing, but basically many times the fundamental size of a paper when we are in Microsoft Word is a letter size and an A4 size by default, or the default one is A4 size and the letter size paper. Those are the ones that we use while we are in Microsoft Word. Unless if you have a stationery shop and you want to print something which is big, like an A3 page or an A3 paper which is big, this is when you come and select the A3. Right, but we have many. We have the statements. We even have the envelopes right here. All right, the envelopes. So all these you can use them, but it depends on which one you would like to do. For example, when I select folio, you see how how my pages will behave, and then when I select maybe Lego, you see how the pages will behave. So you may not see that the change has been appeared, but when you are printing, this is when you will see the change. All right, when you are printing, this is when you will see the change. For example, this is a ledger, things like that. This is an envelope monarch. This is how the envelope monarch looks like. But by default, we use letter size or A4 size when we are designing in Microsoft Word. All right. And then lastly, here we can also focus on columns, but columns we cannot rely on them so much, but they are basically used in newspapers. When the news reporters get to write the newspapers, you see the way how those documents are arranged. They use columns. Okay. All right. Yeah. So those are the fundamental tools that we do really focus on when we are here in the layout tab. So the next lesson we shall be able to cover the reference, the mailings, review, view, developer, and then help. So, but yeah, that is how we deal with the layout, and those are the fundamental tools that we use in those three tabs. We have discussed about layout, design, and intro. So those are the fundamental, the everyday life tools that we are supposed to use in those tabs. All right. Thank you very much. See you in the next lesson, and this lesson will be about how to save our work in our computers, because now I believe you have started practicing and designing as many things as you can. So our next lesson is going to be how we can save our work. Bye bye. Thank you. See you in the next lesson.